Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new Big Brother 25 live feed spoilers. This is day 45 of the game. Coco
Mhm.
Vanderwolf is here to help us. It was a very busy day yesterday.
Yeah, we're on the other side of Izzy's eviction. She knew she'd be going, and Suri was the only person who voted to keep her.
I'll just say this that I'm going to personally miss Izzy in the game. I understand that she's not exactly the greatest Big Brother player of all time, but she was entertaining feeds, and sometimes that's really all you can ask for with the player. They're going to come in, stir things up, have a
Mhm.
big personality.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough because I liked Izzy. I thought she was fun to watch, but I'm rooting for Felicia, so this was tough for me. But I'm glad that my girl Felicia's still in the house.
Yeah, and we'll get in this video about how exactly this came about because this was
Mhm.
pretty complicated. There was a lot that happened. We'll, of course, talk about who won HoH and some of the immediate aftermath of that as well.
Yep.
But before we go any further here, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we are here multiple times a week
Mhm.
talking about Big Brother 25. We are almost at the halfway point of this super, super long season. So clearly, we have a lot still to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're looking for even more Big Brother coverage, then I do a live stream
Mhm.
at our Patreon every single week where we talk all about Big Brother. We answer any questions you have or comments you have about Big Brother. So we'll leave a link for you down in the description if you want to join our Patreon. It's a really great way to help support the channel.
Yeah, okay. So let's get a little bit into how this Izzy eviction even came about because once again with this season everything always seems to flip and change. When we did our last video it felt like Felicia was like for sure going and that nothing was going to change that.
Yeah, and then yeah, it was so fast after we posted our
I
video
know.
that everything flipped.
Them's the breaks with Big Brother sometimes,
Yeah.
guys. Things can happen fast. So this was really a combination of a lot of different things because Jared winning the last power veto and not using it, it showed his loyalty primarily to Suri.
Mhm.
That's one problem. Him just not keeping his story straight is another. And then, as much fun as we had with Suri and Felicia in the kayak, it actually was a little bit of a game problem because she was not really around to clean up a lot of Jared's various messes. And
Yeah.
you're adding on top of all that, America telling Cameron he was the target the week before, and that allowed him to be unleashed further and create more chaos. And it also helped him to realize that Jared was playing him.
And the final nail in the coffin for Corey was Izzy telling him that after Cameron, America was going to be the next target. And he rallied together a group with himself, America, Jag, Matt, Bowie, Jane, and Nicole.
Okay, there was a ton of drama leading into yesterday's eviction. Like, this was one of the most eventful days on the feeds that there have been all season long. And my brain hurt at certain parts after watching and listening to a lot of this. Like, it really started with Jared coming up with this lie that he told Matt, where he basically said that Jag told him the night before, so Wednesday night, that Izzy was going. And Jag didn't say this. It's just that Jared, Suri, and Izzy were starting to kind of clock that people were acting a little bit weird.
Mhm.
That, of course, led to anger, scrambling, Matt then running around spreading the word that Felicia was actually going to stay. And then, when Jared finds out that Felicia's going to stay and Izzy ends up being the person who's going to leave, it leads to him and Matt having a very long conversation.
And then Corey joined soon after, and it erupted into an hours long argument about who's lying, about what, when, why, all of it.
I feel like we almost need to have on referee uniforms for this next part because it was long. It was exhausting. This was Corey, Matt, Jared, and Bowie Jane in this room. And I mean, it was a lot of Corey versus Jared. Like, Jared was called out for a lot of different alliances. And we all know, that Jared has been in a ton of alliances
Mhm.
all season long. Jared did get Corey to admit that he told America info and was lying about it. I don't know why that's like the biggest, most revelatory shock in the entire world here. Of course, he's gonna tell America
Mhm.
things. Eventually, like Jag and Sari come into all of this, and then Jag eventually confirms like the biggest thing that I wanted to see confirmed is that he never said to Jared that Felicia was staying and Izzy was going. So that kind of saves Jag a little bit, where it was an issue of Jag has spread so much info all season long that this was a pretty believable lie, unfortunately, for my guy Jag.
Yeah.
Jared immediately at that point tried to deflect, and we'll get a little bit more later into how he tried to deflect because this has some pretty big implications for Matt. But he was in general really defensive, really talking over a lot of people this entire time. Like Corey did not handle this perfectly throughout, but I think Jared, just the way in which he handled a lot of this. If I was in the house and I was seeing somebody talking over a lot of people, I would be like, okay, that person has the most to hide at the moment.
Okay, the feeds cut before the argument was over, of course, because the Big Brother, and they
Yeah.
like to cut the feeds when interesting stuff is going on. So we didn't see the immediate aftermath of all of this. However, Izzy alluded in her interview with, Julie to Jared and Suri being in trouble.
Yeah, we can read from that whatever we want to. Now,
Yeah.
they said last week that there was this big jury twist
Hmm.
that was coming in the game. And of course, that can all get our wheels turning. That can get us excited. We had some really fun theories about this.
Yeah, I was really hopeful that they were going to do something really crazy,
I,
like you could get live feeds in the jury house and they would actually get to see people playing the game.
I wanted jurors to just stay in the house just so we could have more people in there for a longer period of time and more drama. But no, the jury is only 7 people this season. That is the big twist, everyone. That there is a smaller jury. What? Why did you even hype this up? This is a disappointment upon disappointment.
Yeah, is this really a twist or just a little bit of a change? I mean, twist? I mean, come on.
It is lame. Is really just what it is. Like you could have just said this tonight and not like hyped it up, and I'd be like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, and next week is double eviction.
Yeah, so we'll have that to look forward to. I'm
Yeah.
sure that will be very, very eventful.
Hmm.
Now, the wall comp, which after the pressure cooker earlier this season, that was almost like 14 hours. I think we were all kind of hoping that, all right, we're going to have this really epic, eventful wall comp that's going to go on for hours, that everybody's really heated and angry in the house. There's all this incentive. Jared won this in like 45 minutes, which is pretty weak sauce for a wall comp. I mean, maybe it's because these people were on slop for a long period of time and they're all just tired.
Yes, I'm sure that's probably part of it. I mean, obviously I've never done the wall comp, but I've heard that it's a lot harder than it looks. Like it's really hard on the body. So I mean, people aren't sleeping, people aren't eating. Like, yeah, everybody's motivated, but your body's only going to do what your body's going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's tough to prepare yourself physically for that challenge if you're not eating and you're not sleeping. But
Yeah.
Jared, Bowie, Jane, Blue, they were in the final three.
Okay, this is a weird place that I was in psychologically last night where I think I've made my stance on watching showmances in this game very, very clear.
Mhm.
I did not want to watch Jared and Blue in the HOH room at all, even if there are some different dynamics to it now we'll talk about in a minute. But I found myself rooting for Bowie Jane, who I do not think I've said that sentence once this entire season, and I was just like, come on, Bowie, pull this through. But she drops just after Blue did, and then I was immediately like, okay, did she just throw this because she didn't want to show her cards? Like that would be the most Bowie Jane thing that Bowie Jane could possibly do, and I'm just like, come on.
Yeah, no, I agree. This really would have been a good one for her to win at this point.
Yeah, you want to get a resume at some point in this game, right?
Yeah, and I'm not saying you have to win comps to be able to win the game. I
Yeah.
know that it used to be a lot more you didn't have to win anything and you could win the game. And now people do want to see some wins on your resume unless you can really explain your social game. And Bowie Jane just doesn't really have either of those things going on. We're almost at the halfway point. Like she needs to get some stuff on her resume.
Yeah.
Okay, so after the competition, Blue indicated to Jag that she was really upset with
Yeah.
Jared over being left out of the multiple plans, and she felt lied to. She later confirmed this to the camera, so, this isn't just an act or anything like that. But she is going to continue to act like she's cool with Jared just for cover, but, she's upset about it.
This I came out of this feeling kind of legitimately surprised because I saw her talking to Jag and I was just thinking, okay, this would be great if she's turning on Jared. It would be really dramatic and interesting, but until she actually confirmed it to the cameras, I just didn't want to believe it. And even still, I'm very hesitant to believe it.
I believe her. I would be upset too. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, Jared's her only like real ally. They're in an intimate relationship. I would feel pretty crappy if I was left out of some major plans like that. Like even if I'm not directly lied to, that feels like I'm being lied to. It's breaking trust for no real reason. I mean, she's been told that there's this like mother thing going on with Jared and she's told nobody. So I
Yeah.
mean, she clearly is someone that Jared would have been able to trust.
Yeah, Jared has stepped in it in a lot of different ways over the past week. He was in a really good spot. He screwed some stuff up. He is HoH. Maybe he'll have a way to shore things up. It's just really hard to say. Saria will be around more to kind of clean things up after the fact.
Yeah.
Now, okay, Blue told Matt that she would nominate Sari and Jared if she did win HoH, which would be hilarious, but I'm going to wait and see on that. But okay, now we got to we got to talk about some touchy things here because Matt, one of the real reasons it seems like Matt has turned on Jared at
Mhm.
this point, because after the big argument, I did wonder a lot, okay, how does this person feel after the fact? How does this other person feel after the fact? Matt feels angry at Jared because in this conversation, when it came out that, okay, Jared, you are claiming that, okay, this was said by Jag to you, and then you relayed this information to Matt that, oh, Jag spilled the beans, that Izzy is going, Felicia is saying. He tried to backpedal when it was thrown out there and claimed that Matt misunderstood him over his lie about Jag spilling the beans and that this was just a misunderstanding and that he didn't really say that Jag said anything. And Matt feels like his disability is being used as a strategy and basically just like, okay, so Jared, you're trying to get out of this by saying effectively that I didn't hear you properly as to what you were actually saying. Now, here's the most important thing that we all have to remember here is that this is Matt's experience as a deaf person. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to sit here and say, okay, Matt is some angel who has done nothing wrong this season. He isn't. But in this particular circumstance, what Matt feels really supersedes what any of us on the outside feel about it. I mean, we can all have arguments of, oh, did Jared mean it this way? Did Jared mean it that way? It doesn't matter within the frame of the game because within the frame of the game, this is how Matt took it. Matt felt hurt after the fact, and that's really all that matters in this circumstance. And the other part of this is just because of the things that Jared has said this season,
Mhm.
it is harder to give him the benefit of the doubt in these sort of situations that, oh, he didn't mean it that way and everything related to that subject. Like what matters right now is that Matt is very upset about this particular thing. And
Mhm.
this is a very hard thing that Jared is going to be able to walk back. And I don't think he's going to be able to walk back because it came across as really, really insensitive And, Matt is somebody who is already having to work so much harder than anybody else in the game to even just kind of get a good grasp on what is going on, that he doesn't want to be led to believe by someone that, oh, you just didn't hear me properly, when Jared is trying to get out of this fact that he just blatantly lied about what he supposedly told Jag, or what Jag supposedly told him.
Yeah, it's a really crappy situation for Matt to be in, because really it is how somebody is going to interpret or take or feel
Yeah.
about something. It's not, context matters, but it's difficult in this game because, one, what you said about Jared already doesn't get a pass on a lot of other stuff that he has said and done.
Yeah.
And then we're in this situation here where it's like he's hitting on something that is Matt's disability,
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, you didn't hear me." Well, who's for you to say that, Matt didn't understand what you were saying? He did understand. You don't get to tell him that
Yeah.
he didn't understand. And so I understand why Matt is where he is with this right now.
Yeah, to just sort of put it in a little bit of, I guess, a relatable perspective, to me, it's like if I'm in the midst of something really important in a game like Big Brother, and somebody, is trying to say to me that, oh, you didn't get what I was trying to explain. I showed you something and you didn't see it properly. And like, I'm legally blind. I would be so upset after the fact, because I don't like making a big deal out of, being blind in one eye and being legally blind. Like, I don't like wander around and talk about it at all. So for somebody else to then point at me and being like, oh, this is your disability's fault, or kind of painting a picture that would even suggest that, regardless of whether or not they meant it that way, I would have a really hard time dealing with that.
Yeah. Okay, so Corey and America, let's talk about them as we're wrapping up this video
Yeah.
here. Corey and America want to get close to Cameron this week to sort of make them feel like they're a trio, and that way it increases the odds of Cameron being nominated.
This is kind of funny. Like, the real challenge this week is, can you actually want to be close to Cameron for a week's time? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I can handle this. Now, per what Jared has told Felicia and Nicole, his idea is nominating Corey and Jag for eviction. Cameron is still his number one target, but Jag is his backup now. Like, this could change a lot between now and nomination ceremony. America could still be out there. Like, my initial reaction to this is just that this is a very bad idea if you are Jared. Like, we've already went into how little people trust Jag, that you can just make something out of the blue and people are gonna believe that Jag actually said it.
Mhm.
I would just nominate Corey in America if I'm Jared. And if the situation comes where you can get Cameron on the block, maybe you discuss it, but nobody likes Cameron anyway. It's just like, unless you think he's gonna win every competition from here on out, like, there might be other opportunities to take him out of the game.
I'd get Cameron out. I mean, Cameron just made like a really huge move against Jared's sort of alliance and everything that was going on there. Cameron's won stuff. Cameron's got to go. If I'm Jared, Cameron's got to go.
It'll be very interesting to see what kind of conversations he has. I'm sure Sari will try to have some sort of influence in a lot of this, but the game is flipping once again. I think we all know from drama perspective, it's great to have a lot of back and forth.
Mhm.
Sari's side was in danger. Now the other side is in danger. We'll see what happens in the double. We will be back with more Big Brother 25 live feed spoilers. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of those. Thank you so much as well to our patrons for your
Yeah.
support. We'll see you here next time.